The new 8 o'clock on CNN. Parker Spitzer. Weeknights on CNN.
Here's the real meaning of Wikileaks' story: the powerlessness of world government and institutions in the internet era. In the last few days, supporters of Wikileaks founder Julian Assange have launched Operation Payback, shutting down major websites like Visa, MasterCard, and PayPal. One of the alleged perpetrators is all of 16 years old.
Nick O'Mealy is the perfect person to speak to this new wild, wild net. He's been on the cutting edge of social media and politics. He ran Howard Dean's 2004 presidential internet campaign and teaches about technology and government at Harvard's Kennedy School. It seems a little bit scary to me that anybody can organize an attack on an institution and shut them down. What does that mean?
It's almost like a sit-in, right? I mean, anybody could go sit in the lobby of a bank and shut the bank down for an hour.
That's a fascinating metaphor. I've never even thought about it this way, but it really isn't. I mean, this is a few people. First of all, sit-in requires many people. Second of all, it only shuts down that one little branch. This was right at the heart of the Internet's infrastructure for major global institutions, and they went kaput. And how many people did it take to organize this?
Just well, it took a few people to organize it, but hundreds of thousands to participate. It's a denial of service attack. What they do is they get lots of people to all request the website at the same time, and they figure out ways of automating it, but it's still a broad, coordinated activity. PayPal shuts down WikiLeaks' account, but you can still give money through PayPal to the Ku Klux Klan. I mean, this was a political action these hackers took, an act of civil disobedience.
So is this something we should admire?
I absolutely think it's something we should admire. You know, they're standing up for a political value they believe in, which is a radical free speech on the internet. I'd argue maybe it's the only value the internet actually has.
You say you admire them. How far does that go? I mean, cyber war is the new frontier. China is hacking in. China could shut down our grid. Where do you draw the line of what's permissible?
I mean, I wouldn't equate this with cyber war. I don't want,
Why not?
Well, because I don't know that they broke any laws, right?
Well, all they did was show up.
All they did was show up. All they did was request the website. A lot of people requested the website at once.
If China were to do that and were to try to overwhelm our internet structure, would that be cyber war?
Well, you're talking about a sovereign state going after another sovereign state critical infrastructure.
Well, what was a non-sovereign 10,000 people who were anarchists?
Well, let's get real. This was a brief attack that actually disabled a few systems for a very short period of time. It's very analogous to a sit-in.
The defense of people like a PayPal or a Visa or a MasterCard is kind of like the defense that the major telecommunications companies have. We're just pipelines. We are just vehicles for other people to do their thing. We do not either filter content or even care about the content. Do you see that distinction as being meaningless in the internet world?
Well, I don't know if I see it as being meaningless, but I do think there was kind of an act of political paranoia here, where PayPal will let you give money to the Ku Klux Klan, but they won't let you give money to a platform for whistleblowers.
Look,
I mean, it's just like bizarre.
I'm not agreeing or disagreeing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to parse so we can begin to understand, because I think this is kind of new, and I think it's going to move in all sorts of different directions, and I think it may be the sort of the frontier of combat of the future.
I tend to think of the internet as a way that people interact with each other and bypass institutions, right?
Right.
And consequently, it's very hard to capture it in any substantial way for any substantial length of time. It's not, it was designed in part to avoid any kind of single point of failure. You can always cut the cable going into your house, right?
And China's trying to cut into a whole nation.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean,
and they're doing a pretty good job of it.
Yeah, and I also think, let's not forget that a lot of this power actually rests in the hands of corporations rather than in public infrastructure. I mean, if Google wanted to, Google could take WikiLeaks off of the Google database, and when you Googled WikiLeaks, you wouldn't see anything, right? I mean, that's a power they have, and in some ways, that's a power I see that PayPal tried to execute there.